Good morning, folks. On our way to the lake, getting an early start. Dropped the kid off at tennis practice this morning. They've got a heat advisory, so they're having to practice at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning because they can't do it in the afternoon. These heat indices. Let's listen to some Bass Talk Live on the way to the lake. And man, we have got a heat wave. It's supposed to be 96 today. Heat indices 115. Right now it's almost 80 degrees. It's overcast, really hazy, really humid. No wind, but we're going fishing. It's our day off, trying to get back on that train, trying to start bringing you guys some more content. Been slacking for a while, but life has been busy. It's starting to open up a little bit. So hopefully you're gonna hear my beautiful voice and see my beautiful face a little bit more on the 10 Horse Money YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up if you do appreciate the content, and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. We're gonna do some summer fishing. I don't know what we're gonna bump into. Try to break down a couple techniques. Gonna be looking for some schooling fish. Might be getting a topwater bite with this cloud cover. We're certainly gonna give it an hour or so and see if it's developing. If not, we might have to slide out deep, break out the old live scope, look around. I know all you live scope haters are like, after all these smallmouth tournaments, I'm done with live scope. But it is a great way to catch fish and to learn about what's going on underneath the surface of the lake. We're just driving. Got about another hour to go. We'll be on the water. I'll see you then. All right, folks, we made it out to the lake, and man, it is disgustingly muggy and humid out here. There's no wind, and the water temps are 89.3. It's like 8 in the morning too. It's gonna be a hot one. We're gonna try to cover a little bit of water and just focus on a little bit of shade that we have left before we have to move out deep. So hopefully we can snag a couple fish before the sun gets up and gets nasty out here. Frog, got him. As soon as it hit the water. Yeah, been here. There we go. All right, folks. We're on the board, man. It's a nice little frogfish. As soon as that thing hit the water, it just blew up on it. I was actually looking away. Some fish busted out there in the main lake, and I was looking at them, and all of a sudden I heard an explosion, and my little brain said, set the hook, dummy. And caught us a pretty nice one. Nothing wrong with that fish. It's on a little Spro 65 popping frog, standard. A lot of grass. It looks really good. Just covering water fast, and maybe later on when the sun gets up, I might come back through some of these areas and do a little punching. It's getting that time of year where that grass starts matting up and catch a few fish punching. So that's fun. Nice solid explosion. Everything you wanted in a fish. All right, folks, we're gonna have to change it up. I've been throwing this topwater a bunch and it's not working. I caught that one frogfish. I had one pull this buzzbait under. We might get this back out a little bit later if there's some schooling activity, but for now I'm gonna pick up a jig. We're gonna cover some more with a jig, see if we can get bit up here shallow before it gets really, really sunny. It's already hot. All right, we're gonna tie on this. This is a 1/4 ounce Lil Runt Finesse Jig, Candy Blue Crawl by Cumberland Pro Lures. This right here, my friends, is a little fish catcher. Let's see if it can pay off today. Just a finesse style jig. Got a nice stout 2/0 hook. Perfect little weed guard. And we're gonna put a little baby menace on there, or I might put a little speed crawl. I think we're gonna put a little speed crawl on there. See what happens. Look at that. Caught me a mussel.
made a scrounger out of my Lil Runt Finesse Jig. It's pretty cool. Okay, I made a little move because I was fishing over there. There's some bluegill beds over there. But I looked over here and see that white bird? There was another white bird right on that little grass point right there. So there was two birds over here and the wind's kind of blowing in. We have no wind on this lake at all right now, but there is a little breeze over here. So I decided to pull over here just to see what was going on. Now I'm not getting bit on this lighter jig, so we're gonna tie on a little bit heavier jig. Same thing, we're gonna be throwing that Lil Runt Finesse Jig. But I'm gonna work down this bank and a couple of these points with the wind blowing in and hopefully find a bite. It's been kind of slow out here. There he is, first cast. Change the jig, first cast. Good fish too. Must have threw it right on his dang head. That's crazy. That's a nice fish. Get out of the trolling motor, buddy. Oh. Get out of the trolling motor. That's crazy. Can't believe that. Just made a little switch. Oh yeah, that's a good one. There we go. Oh, good solid fish, folks. On that jig, man, just a Cumberland Pro Lil Runt Finesse Jig, and I was throwing an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce with a speed crawl in there, and I've had quite a bit of success with this other jig. This is a 3/8 ounce, same jig, a little Rage Baby Menace on the back, and first cast. Well, yeah, I think it was the first cast. So I just threw it right on top of that fish's head. Hey, sometimes you get lucky, man. I'd rather be lucky than good. Show what we're looking at here on the old cheetah rig, the live scope. Boat's in 19 foot of water, and there's a little bit of wood out there. See that stump right there? And a little bit of brush and bait down there, and there's some fish kind of hanging out right in there. Water temp is 87 on the Garmin, and we've got 89.5 on the Lowrance. And we'll make a few casts at that. See if we can get bit. There's definitely, look at them chasing the shad. That's awesome. Look at them, they're after it. That is so cool. That's the stuff you see with live scope. Look at them, there they are. They're getting ready to get moshed. These are all bass. I gotta get out there. I got a little swim bait tied on too. I might try that. Got him. Got him. He ate it. A little skinny bass, but hey, we'll count them. Just a group down there, and man, they're all over it, but they wouldn't grab it. Man, you got that swimsuit belly, or flat belly. Abs of steel. Got him. Got him. He's sitting there looking at it and looking at it. Good fish. That brush pile. Looking at it. Look, I saw him go down on it, and I hit that. There's a little stick out there. I hit that stick and boom. You got her. All right, gotcha. There you go. Same Lil Runt Finesse Jig. It's working pretty good, man. I mean, it's tough out here. I'm having to really slow down, and I'm looking at likely targets on live scope, which is really helping. But I really trimmed this skirt down. You know, this is a finesse jig, and it's got a finesse skirt. It's got that kind of spider cut, but it's a lot longer. When it's out of the package, it's quite a bit longer. So I trimmed it down to kind of make it fall a little bit faster, just give it a little bit more finesse profile, and it seems to be paying off. I mean, we're having fun. We are having fun. I'm just throwing it on. This is a new deal to me. Normally I throw a finesse jig on a 7-foot or even a 7'3". This is a little Virtus Jewel Acura, and it's the spinnerbait finesse jig rod. It's a 6'10" medium heavy, and this sucker is bad. It's super sensitive. It's light in your hand. You know, you can fish with it for hours and hours, and it's not as cumbersome as like a 7'3". It's got a nice tip, you know, so when you whack those fish, let me see if I can get it down here for you. When you set the hook, I mean, it's not super limber. I mean, it's got plenty of tip to drive the hook, but it does have a little bit of tip. So, you know, even when those fish jump, they tend to stay hooked up. But I'm having fun, man. This is finesse. I like to fish finesse, and you know, normally spinning rod is finesse, but it's a good time. Just a 15-pound test and just throwing it on a Lew's bait caster. You know, I don't talk about the reels a whole lot, but this is the Lew's Tournament Pro. And I've had these reels for like 14 years, and they're still in the rotation. I've got 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and most of them, they all work great. Sometimes the handles get a little bit of play in them, but that's just from catching so many fish on them. But as far as mechanically, they've all been really great reels. It's like $199 price point, so a little bit pricey, but I mean, if you're keeping them for 14 years, it's well worth it in my opinion. Let's see if we can catch another one. There he is. We got him. A little finesse jig. Right up in that shade. He had it made in the shade until he bit that little Cumberland Pro finesse jig. All right, folks, I'll show you what I'm doing here to get some bites today on a pretty tough day. Just throwing this little jig with the Menace, and they've been pulling this thing down. When that starts happening, it's time to change. So one thing I did do with this jig, by the way, this is the Lil Runt Finesse Jig by Cumberland Pro Lures, and I'm throwing the Wild Grape. It comes in a bunch of different cool colors. This is Smash Pumpkin. This is another great color in Southeast Missouri, Southern Illinois. I've caught quite a few fish on this color. But we've got a little Rage Menace, little baby Rage Menace. So what I'm doing is kind of modifying this. I'm taking it out of the package like this and splitting that tail. This is a little bit longer than what I wanted. You can see here my trailer, the trailer that just came off that jig. I've got it trimmed off just a little bit, not much, maybe 3/8 of an inch. So first thing I'm gonna do, come in here with my scissors, and you can pinch this off, it doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna do that right there. And then we're gonna take this little jig and thread her right up on there. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. One thing you can do is take this weed guard and pinch it like that and get it out of the way. It helps you run it up on there a little bit easier because you're always kind of fighting that weed guard. We're gonna rig this up like that and get it nice and straight. It's kind of hard doing your talking sometimes because you're nervous. You don't want to screw up for the folks at home. I think we got it pretty good. Oh yeah, looks good. Slide it up on there, and it's going to look like so. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little spike it pin, chartreuse, and we're gonna just tappy, just a little bit of dots on each side, not much, it doesn't take much. A little bit of contrast goes a long way. This adds scent, contrast, so it's like that. And the other thing I did was I trimmed the front part of this skirt. So out of the package, it's gonna look like this. It's still a finesse cut, but it's a little bit longer, okay? So look at that, and then look at this. That's originally what the collar skirt looked like. So I trimmed it back quite a bit just to give it even more of a finesse presentation, and it also makes it fall just a little bit faster. Started out with this 1/4 ounce and I went to the 3/8, so I wasn't getting bit on the 1/4 ounce. This is I believe it's called Magic Blue Crawl or something. It's another really good color, but they wanted a little bit faster fall for whatever reason. I don't argue with the fish, I just kind of keep playing around and hopefully find something that they want. But this is a 3/8 ounce and this was a 1/4 ounce and they wanted a 3/8 ounce, so that's what we've been doing. It's a really good solid jig. It's super finessey. It's something that appeals to smallmouth, spots, and largemouth. It's got a nice stout hook, finesse weed guard, and it's a ball head jig. But it's a unique ball head jig. You really can't tell, but there's a flat spot. It's not even a spot. The whole front part of this jig head is flat, and what that does is it helps keep it upright. One of the biggest problems with ball heads is they want to roll over and they get hung up. That little bit of flat spot on the front of that helps to keep it, the hook point up, and encourages it to stand up, and that's also gonna, you know, make your little flippers do crawfish things. There it is. Swimming out of the grass and grabbed it. Nice. Go, another one on the jig. Just, I was kind of swimming it out of that grass, pulling it back to me, and she just came up there and sucked it in. It was fun to get a good jig bite. I think it's time to retie. Got it. He ate it. Just popped it off that weed line there. Yeah, I gotcha. Little jig's paying off today, folks. This is fun. Just popped it off a little hard spot down there and donk. Just kind of, the line just started going sideways. That's kind of what's been happening. I mean, I've had several actually bite it, you know, where I felt the bite, and this rod's pretty dang sensitive, because a lot of times there's been slack in my line and I felt a little tick, and then I've just kind of reeled down and popped them. But several times I've just seen my line just kind of going to the side, which is typical for a jig bite. But you know, so you always got to keep your eyes on that line. Seems like points. Most of my bites have been somewhere around a point. Maybe not on the actual end of the point, but on the sides of the points. And half of the bites have been grass related, and half of them have been wood, and then just kind of some little bit of hard spots. But several of them, you know, I've just cast it out there and they've ran over there and sucked it in. So it's been kind of a suspended fish bite. It's a little bit of everything, but one thing that is consistent is catching them on this little sucker right here. That's a good fish, guys. Wind is your friend. Yeah. That's a good one. Saw my old line jump, man. Nice fish. Come here. Gotcha. All right, folks. That's going to wrap it up, man. Thanks for coming along. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tough day, but we caught some fish on that Lil Runt Finesse Jig, man. This sucker is magic when the fish are in the funk. Saved the day for me. That's fun, man. It's fun. It's good to be back out here in the water. I'm gonna try to keep these videos rolling consistently. We do live streams on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So if you're not busy on Tuesday night, come and check us out. Also, code THM10 at Baitworks will get you 10% off your first order. Had to do my little, you know, spiel. You know how it is. But man, we having fun. Having fun. Another good quality fish. And it's like 100 degrees out here, but I don't care. The fish don't care. Just getting that wind. Stay hydrated and keep on casting, man. Just got to slow down a little bit. Until next time.